record now. Okay, so welcome along everyone to this short presentation on the MSc Human Resource Management Programme here at the University of Stirling. As you'll all no doubt be aware, the MSc Human Resource Management Programme is one of many degrees to which students can progress having completed the into University of Stirling, one of our pre-masters programs. So whether that's the 3-term pre-masters, formerly known as graduate diploma, whether it's the 2-term pre-masters, or whether it's the 1-term pre-masters, one of the progression routes available, and one of the most popular progression routes available, is the MSc Human Resource Management Programme. So we'll try over the course of the next 20 minutes or so to give a little bit of additional insight into that particular degree programme and the particular strengths that that programme has. But what we'll do, as we've done in the previous sessions, is we'll almost take a step back from that. And before we talk about the specifics of the MSc programme, we'd like to just give you the overall findings from a recent survey that QS carried out, the 2022 QS Global Employment Employer Survey. And obviously employment is the end goal for any of our students that are doing any of our programs. This year's QS Global Employer Survey received over 26,000 respondents, and it was a global representation of employers from a wide range of industries and organizations. And what the report does is to showcase what employers are looking for from the graduate pool, where they're seeing rather skills gaps, and where they're maybe identifying dissatisfaction with the skills on offer from graduates from a range of institutions joining their workforce. And you can see from this slide that's taken from the report, it shows you what employers have said. Some very interesting trends within the research, and the main focus and the main identification of where the skills gaps are tends to focus on the softer transferable skills. So just to summarize some of the main points that came out of that survey, the 3 top most important skills identified by employers were communication, teamwork, and problem solving. So those are the skills that they're looking for graduates who are joining them to display and to be able to hit the ground running when they start their employment with them. Conversely, if you like, the areas of communication, problem solving, and resilience are where employers are reporting the biggest skills gaps in graduates from a range of institutions across the world. And also commercial awareness, negotiating, and leadership skills are where employers are demonstrating the least amount of satisfaction with any new recruits that are joining them. Problems, and I'll highlight one of these in particular that very much applies to those students who are looking to graduate and work in the field of human resource management. Typical problems that employers are currently trying to solve are kind of highlighted down the left-hand side of the screen. And the one that I'm really going to focus on is the area of hybrid working. Now I am in a slightly unusual position today. I've actually been in the office. If I'd have said that 4 years ago, you would have said, what are you talking about? It's not unusual to be in the office. But with COVID and everything else, we've all moved to kind of a much more flexible way of working in terms of hybrid working. So the next time I do a similar presentation to this, I'll probably be doing it from the spare room in my house. So we can all see how hybrid working and the changes over the last couple of years have influenced our own working style. And now we're in a position where recent surveys show that 72% of workers now want hybrid working. But on the flip side of that is that 82% of our managers worry about productivity. And I think particularly for those graduates who are going to be working in HR, from our human resource management graduates, this is a particular challenge that I think is only going to be magnified over the years ahead, and how to kind of square the circle, if you like, of employees very much welcoming the flexibility and involved with hybrid working, and senior management maybe worrying about the kind of implications of productivity on that as well. But you can see some of the other challenges down for students maybe who are going to be working in retail. The way that we all buy things has significantly changed over the last few years. Consumer habits have also changed, with 88% of consumers wanting to engage with companies which put a premium on corporate social responsibility. And again, at the heart of that is sound HR practices. And then new markets are coming on board and becoming much more prevalent than they were before. So these are all challenges that face graduates emerging into a vastly changing world. Turning to look specifically at the MSc Human Resource Management program, just to kind of highlight some headlines from that. Students joining the program don't need to have any previous work or study experience in the field of human resource management. So students, if you like, can come in either with a general business background or with no real discernible business background, because the program is designed for those students who don't necessarily have a background in HR. The aim of the program is to build on core human resource management theory and practice. And I think that practice is the key within that, to examine the range of people management challenges which organizations face. A lot of the focus on the programs, as it is with all of our programs, is very much on the practical side, and we'll see some examples of how that works in practice as we go through the rest of the slides. Important to point out that the program is accredited by the CIPD, the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. So students, as well as emerging with the degree qualification from us, will have gone some significant way to meeting the accreditation standards of the CIPD. Again, the practical side of things that I mentioned, the focus is very much on developing a graduate or a student's practical skills that they'll need for a career in HR. So I think I used the phrase in one of these sessions last week, students not only are given the knowledge to enable them to talk the talk, but also the practical skills and attributes that they need to walk the walk as well. And no better example of that is there than the final semester consultancy project. And we'll talk a little bit that in due course as well, where students actually get their teeth into as real life situation as we can make it, to show that they've distilled all their learning from the first 2 semesters and are able to convert that into a practical consultancy type project in the 3rd semester. Again, just looking at the breakdown of the program, as I mentioned, it's 3 semesters, autumn semester, spring semester, and then 1 final summer semester, which covers that consultancy case study. And the idea of the program is the graduates will be able to manage employment relations, recruit and nurture talent to sustain success, and reward and motivate the top performers in the workforce. Semester 1 is very much geared around giving students a grounding in the key concepts and practices of HR. Again, the practical skills needed by HR professionals and the business context that HR contributes to. So HR doesn't exist, human resource management doesn't exist in a little vacuum of its own. Obviously, it has connections with all other functions of the particular business that it's servicing. Semester 2 then takes that knowledge gained in semester 1, that foundation knowledge, if you like, gained in semester 1, and students will choose from a selection of specialist HR topics. And then semester 3 really is a culmination of the students' study journey, if you like. And as we've mentioned previously, it very much involves that consultancy case study, which is an opportunity for students to act as a HR consultant to a fictional company, but with real life HR problems to solve. So that's really the breakdown of the program and how it operates. Probably getting tired of my voice talking to you now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show a couple of videos. This one's a general video that is really designed by the School of Management. and it takes in why students should want to study the range of business management programs that we have within the school, and in this case, the HR program. Really, that video really kind of highlighted the practical aspects of the program that we mentioned previously. What I'm going to do now over the next couple of slides is just break down each of those semesters that we mentioned, and maybe just focus a little bit on some of those modules that were contained within there that do highlight those practical skills. So in semester one, you can see the four modules that contribute to semester one. The Flying Start Leadership Program is a short 2-week induction program, if you like. It's non-credit bearing, but it has a huge role to play in equipping students with many of those practical skills that will see them through semester one, semester two, and out the other end of semester three as well. So what I'm going to do is to show you another little video highlighting the Flying Start program. So the Flying Start program engages postgrad students in a wide range of activities at the very beginning of the program, with the idea that those activities will challenge students' perspectives of culture, explore beliefs and values, build their self-confidence, and also encourage them to share ideas, particularly where students are maybe coming from a style of teaching where it's very much absorbing teaching without necessarily contributing to the class discussions or whatever. So this little video will give you a little insight into how the Flying Start program operates.
Stirling Management School welcomes a wide range of students joining us from across the globe, and that diversity continues to grow every year.
The Flying Start Leadership Program is pretty important because not all the universities has an induction like this one.
We did a number of activities, figuring out our personality types and how we can work well with different cultures.
How you interact with people, communication skills, how you can develop.
Personal development, it's really about focusing on yourself and your career and what you really want out of the Masters, which I thought was great.
For me, the most important activity was Solution for Business. I can share experience with entrepreneurs to recognize what are the most important characteristics that a manager has to have.
I always see myself as a follower, while with the team building challenge, I really noticed that I could also be a leader sometimes. It was a great exercise to get to know each other.
Most of the people here are international, and the Flying Start told them what the journey is going to be like and how to prepare yourself for what's going to come.
When we go into the workplace, it's great to have these technical skills, but what we really need is soft skills. Communication and team building and self-awareness are all just as important as knowing how to manage.
Business challenge was really good, and you had to choose different investment options. I was really chuffed with that because our team worked really well and got to know everyone on the team a lot better.
At the beginning, I was really scared because I didn't know people from Scotland, but I'm feeling really comfortable. I'm feeling like in my home.
I've probably made more than 100 friends in 2 weeks.
The university wanted me to know myself first, and also how I would relate with other people. With that, it brought us very close to the business world as we are going to experience after school.
So to sum up the Flying Start Leadership Program, I'd say it's challenging,
Creative,
intercultural,
Supportive,
Friendly.
So the Flying Start program really is designed to get students off to a flying start in their MSc studies, taking on board and encouraging them to develop some of those soft skills that we've talked about previously. There we go. Just looking through some of the other modules within the semester one, and these are the current modules. Obviously, modules are subject to change, but other modules the students will study during semester one are strategic and operational HRM, and the aim of that, or what students will do during that module, is study the aims and objectives of HR management within contemporary organizations. They'll also look at an employee life cycle and the framework of HRM, and look at boundary crossing, networking, and organizational alliances that HR professionals have to build. Again, looking at that point I made earlier on, where HR doesn't exist in a vacuum. So again, those key skills that employers are looking for that we mentioned in the QS survey in terms of communication, of leadership, of teamwork, are all built in with those modules as well. With the professional skills and analytics module, students students working in the HR need to demonstrate a core set of definable skills in the work. And this module explores that core set of skills that are key to HR professionals delivering change and effective people management within an organization. And then within the business context module, again, that's all centered around that commercial awareness aspect that came out again from the QS survey. If we look ahead to semester two of the program, again, you can see the kind of key modules that are built in within semester two. No major surprises in there that HR professionals need to be acutely aware of equality, diversity, and inclusion. And within this module, students look, for example, at key trends and changes in labour supply from a diversity and inclusion perspective. And they'll also critically evaluate economic theories and data sources of disadvantage. So employment relations focuses very much on different perspectives of employment relations and the typical cooperation and conflicts that it varies between workplaces. And then within resourcing and talent management, this module focuses on the day-to-day practicalities and the longer-term strategic issues associated with resourcing organizations appropriately, ethically, and fairly to maximize the performance of staff within the organization. And then last but not least, moving on to semester three of the program, we mentioned very earlier on the consultancy case study, and this really brings together all of the learning of the previous two semesters and allows students to demonstrate that they have taken on board all the skills and knowledge that they've acquired during semester 1 and 2. The case study gives students the opportunity to work on a fictionalized practice-based project devised by an external organization. So the focus for the project is very much in creating a realistic HR challenge, and with the student working as a consultant, working towards finding appropriate solutions. So again, just emphasizing the practical nature of the program. In terms of how it works assessed, again, this is a common theme running throughout all these program sessions that we've been running. A wide range of different assessment methods are used. Many of them will focus again very much on that practical aspect of student developing and displaying and demonstrating the practical skills that are required in a management role. So you can see that students will have essays to submit, and they'll also be required to submit management reports. So obviously in the case of this particular program, probably a HR type management report, looking at company-based investigations as evidenced just by the consultancy project that we mentioned there. But students will also be required to do group projects and presentations, and again, working as a team to kind of do that, bringing out those team working skills that we mentioned, those communication skills that are so important to employers, as evidenced by the survey. Looking at role play, potentially looking at doing some video production, maybe a little bit of event planning, and obviously exams. But what we often say and what we often stress is that for students who get very anxious about having one final exam to determine everything, Stirling's a good place to come, because this wide range of assessment methods that you see here demonstrate the fact that it's not all about one final exam. Students will be assessed across a range of different assessment methods. And looking at the Stirling Management School, in which obviously the HR program is very much based, you can see that the Stirling Management School, I'm still a little bit confused as to why we put this in twice, but maybe it's just to reinforce it, is rated in the most recent Guardian survey, was rated in the top 20, UK top 20 for teaching satisfaction. Looking at the International Student Barometer, the most recent findings, you can see that overall the institutions showing a 98% satisfaction with learning spaces, really high percentage satisfactions in terms of the expertise of our lecturers, course content, and going back to that assessment style, 94% satisfaction with assessments. Again, just rounding off the presentation, looking at kind of some of the key aspects in terms of employability and careers. Students can do a professional development and practice module, and that's very much following on and the theme of the Flying Start module, whereby they'll develop those soft skills, those practical skills that employers are looking for. But where our career services are also instrumental in giving students the opportunity to both develop those softer skills, but also have a real good insight into what industry are looking for. So in terms of development of the employment skills, students can carry out mock interviews, they can have sessions that will allow them to have their CV checked over and improved upon. Confidence toolkit is built within there as well. In terms of industry insights, a wide range of professionals from across a range of different industries will come in and give talks hosted by the Career Service within those areas that students are looking to progress into. So they've got a first-hand account of what employers are looking for, and also what skills employers are looking to bring in to their organizations, as well as more broadly the challenges faced by those organizations as well. And in terms of vacancies, Career Service will regularly update the vacancies that are available in terms of both graduate employment, but also in terms of those kind of more immediate employment opportunities in terms of part-time work to help students support themselves through their studies as well. We also now, as of about 3 or 4 months ago, have a dedicated careers advisor whose sole focus is on assisting international students. So Emily Sandwell, she's the career advisor within the Career Service, who is very much focused on assisting international students only in terms of their future career plans. Looking broadly at Scotland as a desirable destination, pleased to report that unemployment in Scotland is at record low levels, so therefore employment's at record high levels. Inward foreign investment within Scotland is outpacing the rest of the UK and Europe. So lots of opportunities for HR and other professionals. Scottish economy is now bigger than it was pre-COVID. And in our 2 largest cities of Glasgow, which is Scotland's largest city, and Edinburgh, which is our capital city, we have the 2 cities within the UK top towns and cities for salaries in finance and professional services. So lots of fantastic opportunities for students to exploit once they've completed their HR program. That's been a bit of a whirlwind tour through the program, also building in some of the background to that as well. That really brings me to the end of the session. What I would say, as we always do at this point, is to highlight our Into Stirling Instagram account. If you haven't already checked us out, please look us up and you'll find out what's going on a kind of regular basis within the centre. I've put my contact details on there, as well as my colleague Craig's. And it only remains for me to say thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. I'll stop recording just now, and then we can, if you have any questions to ask, please feel free to ask them. So I'll just stop the recording now, and